Hi guys, and welcome to another kit review. Alright, so today, as you can see, we're having a look at a kit from Tamiya in 1/35 scale. It is their German Tiger One mid-production. Okay, so this is a mid-production Tiger One, early to mid 1940s. They did do some basic changes. They removed the pistol ports from the side of the turret, changed the commander's cupola to a lower one with 7 vision slits and a side sliding hatch, added in an anti-aircraft machine gun, changed a few little bits and pieces, okay, but they still retained the rubber road wheels. In the late version they made them steel wheels, did a few other different changes. Really not a great deal of difference. Cosmetically, yes. Overall, no. Still the same big, clunking, vicious looking tank. Okay, so this particular model, kit number is 35194. Came out in 1995, so therefore she is 25 years old. Okay. And before that, there were around 8 or 9, I think, different versions, different reissues of the Tiger One from Tamiya since the 1970s. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we've got. Alright, so as you can see, this one, it does say complete exterior detailing, does not include the Zimrit coating. Does get a commander figure, does get separate track links, which do not click together, they glue together. And it does say accurately reproduced suspension system. I believe it is just literally, it's not a full torsion bar system, it is literally just the axles. Anyway, as you can see, really nice box art, typical Tamiya, white background, vehicle in the front, nice colouring. Okay, so that's the cover. Let's have a look at the sides. Okay, so what we have here is a Tiger from Schwerpanzerabteilung, oh, sorry, forgive me, 506 in October 1943. She is in all over yellow with red-brown stripes. This, I believe, is Japanese history of the Tiger. Wish I could speak Japanese, then I could read these. There's your commander figure. On the other side, we have winter camouflage scheme, which is just a whitewash over the top of your normal dark yellow. And this is a dark yellow and dark green two-tone. So dark yellow, both green stripes. Okay, so German tanks from 1943 onwards, in fact German vehicles from 1943 onwards, all came out in dark yellow. Okay, so that's the box. This one I got off the internet, cost me $34, $35 or something like this a couple of years ago. They run at around 50, 60 bucks if you can get them, Tamiya Tigers. Some of the other manufacturers are slightly cheaper. Some are horribly more expensive. Well, at least out here in Australia anyway. Okay, so that's the box. Let's have a look inside. Put that away. Instructions. We'll have a look at those shortly. I did get 2 aftermarket kits for this. One is the genuine Tamiya Zimrit kit. The other is a aftermarket grill set for Tiger for Tamiya, okay, because these kits do not have an engine inside or an interior at all. You can look straight through the grills into a very empty hull, so it's always a good idea to get the grill kit anyway. Alright, so let's have a look. Okay, so first bag out, 2 sets of sprues. These are the rubber tyres from the early mid version. The late version and the final version had steel rims. Basic Tiger hull, not much difference there. I think they're all probably exactly the same. one bag of 3 sprues. These are your individual track links. Next bag out is your hull, commander figure, turret, rear of the hull, okay. And the next bag out is your bits and pieces, exhaust pipes, cables, okay. You do have 2 separate gun barrels here, depending on which version you're modelling, and mudguards and tools, etc. Okay, so not that many sprues in here, nothing else left in the box. In a second, we'll have a look at the instructions and the aftermarkets and the decals. Okay, so let's have a look at the instructions. Alright, so you have English, German, French and Japanese. Basic history of the Tiger, mid-production that is. It does tell you here just the differences between the early and mid-production, replacement of the Commander's cupola, whatever you want to call it. Okay, from the tall one to a shorter one, 7 vision slits and side pivoting hatch. Okay, anti-aircraft machine gun, and says starting in 43 Zimmerit coating was applied. Okay, so that's basic difference between an early and a late version. Okay, they did get rid of the side pistol ports. They did put a gun lock at the back here on the back rear deck for the, so you could turn the turret around, lock the gun in position so it didn't bounce around too much and put your sights out. So very cosmetic changes between an early and a mid, and the same goes for a mid to a late or final version. Mostly cosmetic, bits and pieces, refinements. Overall, the tank stayed the same, the gun stayed the same. Okay, so let's have a look inside. So as usual with Tamiya, there is no sprue layout diagram. Tamiya's quality control is so good that if it goes in the kit, it's there. You don't have to worry too much about that. Callouts are all in Tamiya colours, of course. That's your colours. So, internet reference for your own manufacturer. Most of you know what colours to use nowadays anyway. And we start with the lower hull. The greyed out sections here are for the Zimmerit. Okay, so you can either apply that yourself or get an aftermarket kit like I did, and just follow the directions as to where to place it. Right, so if you are putting on Zimmerit, just pay attention as you go through construction steps. Possibly read the instructions a couple of times first, just to make sure you don't miss anything. And attach your Zimmerit first. Okay, so next we go on to, of course, drive wheels, idler, road wheels. Note that these are the rubber tyres. Early to mid versions wore rubber tyres. Late to final had steel rims. Okay. Naturally enough, just follow the directions. This is an interleaved wheel system, so standard Tiger. Not that hard if you follow the directions. Colour callouts all the way through for the rubber tyres. Okay. Then we go on to building the tracks. You do get track guides so that you can align the track straight. You do have to cement the track, it does not glue, and I would probably leave it to cure for a couple of hours or so before you start messing around with it, just in case, even overnight. No reason why not, but I would definitely leave the track off until the last thing after the vehicle's painted. Okay, so that's your track. It does give you a diagram as to how it sits on the wheels. Then we go on to the rear exhaust pipes, the jack, etc., the headlight. One thing you'll notice about this mid version is the early versions had two headlights. Mid version has a centrally mounted headlight right in the middle of the front glasses plate. Okay, so back of the tank, exhaust pipes are going on, armoured shields for the exhaust pipes, rear mudguards. Okay, then we get to the front, and the front is literally just the front plate, the Hull machine gun, which is unfortunately just a single barrel, no internals. Okay, so there's no mechanism, no pistol grip, no nothing. All right, which is unfortunate. You do mount the hatch hinges, and hatches do operate on this, although there is no interior. Then we get to the front hatches, which are these two. They do get periscopes because they are openable, if that's a word. You can open them. Okay, so there is a colour call out for that. And then we just carry on attaching the top hull to the bottom. Cables, etc. going on the top hull. I would probably leave the cables off until last. Paint those up. But it's entirely up to you how you want to paint this thing up. And then it's just a matter of attaching the hatches, tools, the travel lock at the back here, which is a mid-version accessory. Okay, and then we go over so over here you have got the turret. It does have a basic breech mechanism for the 88. It does have color call outs for inside. There is a hole to open for this version of the tank. Okay, and as you can see by the grey on the outside, that is for your Zimmerit, so you may want to definitely have a look at the instructions before you start building. Okay, once that's constructed, top of the turret goes on. The hatches can be left, you can leave this one open. The commander's hatch does swing. There are two barrels in this kit, only one is used, the difference being the length of the muzzle brake. The final version had a shorter muzzle brake on it. That's really the only difference, and I guarantee you have had all sorts of versions floating around at the end of the war. They did throw a lot of these together from old parts, old turrets, new hulls, and vice versa. So, bit of a mixed match at the end of the war. Okay, finishing off the turret, anti-aircraft machine gun. Most tanks didn't carry 3 machine guns. They used either the hull or the turret machine gun as an anti-aircraft machine gun. But on this tank, your commander's been really good, and he's got himself 3 machine guns, so well done. Turret bin, construction and painting of your commander figure, turret goes on, side mud guards, and that's literally it. It does give you basic painting instructions for a mid-production 43 onwards Tiger in English, Japanese, German and French. Okay, over the page, this is your markings and colour guides. Russia, Autumn 44. Russia, December 43. So that's just a whitewash over the top of a dark yellow, and it can be a dark yellow, dark green, or dark yellow, red brown camouflage scheme. And on the back you've got Normandy, and this Normandy tank has all over dark yellow, dark green and red brown striping, and that's literally it. So there isn't a great deal to it. It only takes 14 steps to finish this tank. Can be finished in a weekend. Okay, so that's the instructions. I'll show you the aftermarkets I bought for this kit. I'll give you close-ups of these. This is the grill kit. As I said, on the tank you can see straight through because there is no engine. So buying a set of grills like this just means that you won't see a big empty space. And this is a genuine Tamiya part, number 12647. This is for a Tiger One mid-late production. This is your Zimmerit kit. Okay, so highly recommend, unless you are really good with your own Zimmerits, going for an aftermarket kit will make life a lot easier, especially a Tamiya one. For a Tamiya kit, should not have any problems making it fit. Alright, that's the aftermarkets. Let's have a look at the decals. There you go. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have markings for 4 tanks. A famous number 131, the only running real Tiger tank in the world at the Tank Museum. Okay, you do have divisional markings as well, plus your standard German crosses. And let's have a look. Doesn't give me, yes it does, copyright 1995. Okay, so that's your decals. That's the aftermarkets. In a second, we'll have a look at the sprues. Okay, so let's start with the bottom hull. Standard Tiger bottom hull does have some bolt detail along underneath, but a lot of this you won't see because of the wheels. Does have some basic hatches on the bottom and a quite prominent moulding point that needs to be removed. But apart from that, fairly straightforward basic Tiger hull. Let's have a look at the copyright, which is 1989. Okay, so the copyright on the hull, 1989. As I said, this kit came out in 95. But it is based on several previous versions. Okay, so top hull. Not much to say about the top hull. Okay, turret, commander figure, mantlet, hatch, etc. Let's have a look. This is basically the same sprue as in the 1989 late version release. I've done a review of that kit, which includes the bonus figure kit, which was released in 2000, so it looks very similar to that. No texture on these. Nice detail for the hinges for the side mudguards. Nice detail on the rear deck. Okay, and yes, as you can see right through them, so that's why you need a grill set just to cover that massive hole up. Front plate with your hull machine gun. Let's have a look at your commander figure. Really nice facial features on that. Really nice. This is a later figure, so he will come up really nice. That's his uniform. Okay, and you could get away with painting that black, field grey, or almost any colour, uniform colour you can imagine for a German tank crewman. Here's the top of your Tiger. This is the late style cupola with the 7 vision slits. Back of the hull. There's not a great detail on the back of the hull because most of it gets covered up with the exhaust pipes and the tools. And sides of the turret. Okay, those holes are for your spare track links. So if you weren't going to use the spare track links, you will have to fill those holes, unfortunately. Okay, and that is the top hole and the turret. Let's have a look at the next big sprue, which is this one. And this one is exactly the same as the late Tiger 1 version. Exhaust pipes, turret bin, okay, 2 gun barrels. These are your track guides for when you're gluing your tracks together, front hatches and cables, of course. So let's have a closer look. That is the machine gun ring for the Commander's cupola, Commander's hatch. Those there is your gun breech, okay? So not a great detail on the gun breech. There is no interior to speak of. That is your jack. That's a nice detail. Turret bin, mud guards front and back. Your tools are quite, sorry, that went out of focus. Sorry guys, there you go. Tools are really nice, very sharp. So is your machine gun. That's quite nice. I would probably fit that outside. Cables, nice detail on the cables. Okay. Now, that is the gun barrel that you are going to use. This one. Okay. This is the final version gun barrel. As you can tell, the muzzle is slightly different. Not a huge, great difference. Only slightly. Okay, and there is detail on the inside of the hatch as well. Okay, because that is the loader's hatch, gunner's hatch, and that needs to be detailed if you are leaving it open. Okay, so that is your gun barrel and exhaust pipes, etc. What we have next is 2 sprues exactly the same. These are your wheels. I'll put that one aside. And as I said, these are the rubber tyres. So let's turn her over. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay, focus. There you go. Really nice bolt detail. That will come up really nice with a nice simple wash. Okay, so your road wheels, etc., they do have bolt detail. A lot of it you won't see because of the interleaved wheel arrangement, but it is really nice. Nice bolts, nice and clear. Okay, these are just fittings, etc. That there is your axles for the wheels, hatches, and a spade. And the armoured cover for the exhaust pipe does have a armour texture on it too, so that is really nice. Okay, so like I said, you do get 2 of those. And you get 3 of these. So I'll put those 2 aside. And this is, as you can see, your individual track links. Okay, so the detail on these is really nice. They do glue together, do not clip together, unfortunately, so they don't move, but because they are individual, you will be able to give yourself a really nice track sag, which if you look at all the photos of tigers, you'll see is quite prevalent, especially down the front. Okay, so that literally, guys, is it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 sprues all together in this kit, and that's it. 7 sprues plus the bottom hull. So an easy kit to build, definitely the kind of thing that you could probably throw together over a weekend. The only thing that would slow you down would be putting the individual track links together, and because you have the track guides, it shouldn't be that hard. And yeah, so I think quite good for a weekend, quite good for a modeler of even basic experience would be able to put this kit together without too much trouble. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this one. I hope you did get something, as usual, from this kit. It does bring back memories. I did build a tiger tank way back in the 70s. That was a little bit cruder than this one. Anyway, as usual, thank you for watching. I hope you did get something from this one. And until next time, take it easy.